Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is, of course, Friday, June 6, 2014, and the Bergdahl scandal escalates with an exclusive here that Bergdahl declared jihad in captivity, secret documents show. So not only did Bergdahl willfully walk off base as a deserter due to his and because of his own volition and assimilate looking for the Taliban, now accusations are that he declared jihad while in captivity, in addition to helping the Taliban make bombs to attack his own troops, which members of his own camp said that the attacks went up. The IED bombs placed in strategic locations. It's almost as if the Taliban knew how to react, how to place the bombs, how to have a bit more effective kill rate. At least six U.S. soldiers died while overseas in Afghanistan looking for Bergdahl. And now they're saying that not only was he willfully assimilating with the Taliban, he had also declared himself a mujahid, if I'm saying that correctly. You've probably heard of mujahideen or mujahideen, not really sure how to pronounce it, but he had also declared jihad while in captivity, allegedly to kill Americans. Now, of course, the president making the worst trade in history, trading 5 senior Taliban terrorists for one dude who also declared jihad while in captivity against America itself and his own troops, allegedly, according to this report. Now, of course, this scandal, which has blown up since in the White House's face, which I think they were pitching originally as some kind of heroic story that was going to coalesce the American people behind their King Obama, is actually really just put egg all over their face. In fact, I'd like to see eggs thrown at Susan Rice. It'd be kind of funny to see a hard-boiled egg just whack off her forehead, because the comments that she makes really are stupid and idiotic, as is the administration that is running a kingship, Obama, the emperor himself. But Susan Rice, who's been emblazoned in scandal after scandal, making idiotic comments regarding Benghazi Gate and the murder of Christopher Stephen and 3 other innocent Americans, now making more bumbling full idiotic comments on behalf of the Obama administration regarding Bergdahl, saying that his service was honorable.
I provided the best information that the U.S. government had at the time. Parts of it turned out to be wrong. I regret that the information I was provided was wrong and that I delivered to the American people. That doesn't make me a liar.
Yeah, he's so honorable, Susan. Yeah, so honorable.
Yeah, really honorable as he's declaring jihad against Americans, putting Americans at risk. You know, now that Obama has released Bergdahl and traded him, this known deserter, according to a Pentagon report in 2011, saying with incontrovertible evidence he had deserted his own camp, leaving his weapons behind, and then teaching the Taliban how to make bombs to kill his own troops, his own soldiers. But now the Taliban, slaughtering goats overseas in Afghanistan and celebrating a jubilation, are now eager to capture more U.S. troops like Bergdahl, because they know that it can be traded for 5 Taliban terrorists. 1 private can be traded for 5 senior terrorists within the Taliban with direct connections to Osama bin Laden. I mean, Osama bin Laden really must be just smiling in his grave right now. Really, the terrorist winning, because we have a terrorist sympathizer at the White House, a Taliban sympathizer in the name of President Barack Obama. So this couldn't be any worse of an outcome for the Obama administration, releasing a man who willfully deserted his own camp, cost the lives of at least 6 other troops, and allegedly had declared jihad against America. Said that he was, paraphrasing a bit, disgusted, but said something along the lines of being ashamed to be an American and literally assimilating with the Taliban himself. Some arguing that that might be evident of Stockholm syndrome, where you basically assimilate with your captor in order to survive. He was reported to carried guns, AK-47s, was allowed to carry a gun while being held, and really kind of describing his relationship and the back and forth with his captors, at some points being held in a metal cage, and in others smiling and, you know, praising Allah and playing soccer and saying things like salam and praising God with his captors during the 5-year stunt, of which the Obama administration and Susan Rice could have saved him many times before. And I think that's the point. Could have saved him many, many times before, but chose not to until the timing they thought was right in order to raise publicity for the Obama administration. Free him, then try him. Another article here from the Washington Post, basically suggesting that Bergdahl should be held accountable for what he did and the lives he put at risk, and now the lives that President Barack Obama has put at risk. We have another report here from Time saying, describing the behind the scenes of the Bo Bergdahl's release. Somewhere in hell, bin Laden is smiling, rolling over in his grave, which is buried in the bottom of the sea. Of course, they did no DNA sampling on bin Laden, didn't even snap a picture or send it through Snapchat or Instagram or Pinterest. We're just expected to believe they gave Osama bin Laden a official Muslim burial by kicking his dead carcass body that they shot up off the edge of a U.S. warship. And we're supposed to just buy off on that. Inside the ring, Hagel, the defense secretary, Chucky Cheese Boy here, facing a grilling on the legality of the Bergdahl Taliban trade. And I think that's the point of this story. And I've emphasized to a great degree over the past few days is that this story is bigger than Bergdahl. This is really about the president acting like an emperor, acting like a king, bypassing Congress illegally, which is treasonous, failing to give 30-day notice before the release of enemy combatants from Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay. Doing this on the behalf of himself, because he just has a stick up his butt for power and thinks he can do anything, and really proves the point that he can, because the American people don't give a shit. They'll continue to allow Obama really crown himself the king that he truly is. And that's what this story should be all about. Not Bergdahl, not whether or not he deserted or not. Of course, all of this tragic, the lives that were lost, the soldiers that were killed looking for him, etc. But it's bigger than that. This is about a president crowning himself king, bypassing Congress, breaking his own laws, instituting and writing his own law through the National Defense Authorization Act in 2013, which allows him to black bag you in the middle of the night without judge, trial, or jury, illegal search and seizure through the NSA and this vast wiretapping and metadata program that makes up the government today, and then breaking his own law and releasing 5 high-ranking Taliban officials. Obama, I guess a Muslim and extremist Muslim, a Muslim extremist sympathizer and Taliban sympathizer himself, releasing these people back into the wild so they can kill more Americans, maybe even you and your family in the not too distant future. And that's what this story is truly about. Obama, in the meantime, making absolutely no apologies for the Bergdahl terror trade, claiming that the Taliban would have killed the POW if he had told Congress. So again, no regard, zero regard for our branches of government, Congress, the Senate, his peers, our supposed elected officials. I mean, really what we have in America today is simply an elected monarch. So we have a king who's, I guess, selected. I would argue selected, not elected. It's a selected monarchy by corporate America. That's what the United States is today. A selected monarchy with an emperor in power. Now remember, George Washington, who was known not just as the first president of the United States, is a marker for the constitutional republic, many wanting George Washington himself to become king and to really become the supreme ruler of the land, chose not to, and set an amazing freedom and liberty-based precedent that we would never have that in the United States of America. We would never be ruled by a king, as was the case in Great Britain, and was one of the reasons we picked up our muskets, traveled overseas, a great loss and risk to lives, and started what is known as the Constitutional Republic here in the United States of America. So the president, George Washington at the time, known for that, and setting the precedent as the first president, in my opinion, Obama will be known in the history books as the first president to crown himself as king, as emperor, as the new supreme ruler of the land. I mean, this really isn't any different from what we see with the Ayatollahs over in places like Iran, places where Obama says are a threat to America and national security and our totalitarian regimes, now crowning himself much like emperors thousands of years ago, or leaders here throughout the world in some parts today. All of this is the real truth, folks, and the real story behind the scenes. A president crowning himself king, bypassing Congress, and flagrantly attacking liberty and freedom everywhere, attacking the precedent that has been America for just a few short couple hundred years. A very sad day. A sad day to be an American. A very sad day. A national suicide for liberty and freedom lovers everywhere. Very tragic. And I can't help but think that all of this might fly right back in the face of this guy. Another part of this administration that will probably likely have egg or maybe something worse in his face in the not too distant future. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere. Make it viral, hard hitting and in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.